Hey golfers, are you ready for the golf season? Birch Creek's punch passes are on sale at the spring sale price, currently at a $20 discount, and are on sale through March 31st. Visit birchcreekgolf.com and purchase your punch pass online. Birch Creek's punch passes never expire and are valid 7 days a week. So if you love golf, call Birch Creek today or visit birchcreekgolf.com and purchase your punch pass at the spring sale price. That's Birch Creek Golf Course in Smithfield.
I've got a math question for you. When you add tolerance, subtract prejudice, and multiply efforts to treat one another with respect, what do you get? Less division. And school sports have it down to a science. Looking for an example of what can happen when we realize there's more that unites us than divides us? Look no further than high school sports in Utah.
This message presented by the Utah High School Activities Association and the Utah Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
It's time for the Garden Guide with your host, Mark Anderson from Anderson Seed and Garden.
New research suggests that people are more likely to eat vegetables if they have a tempting name.
What would life be without homegrown tomatoes? Only two things that money can't buy, and that's true love and homegrown tomatoes.
From gardening to landscaping.
Today we are going to try and create garden eyebrows. Kind of like the flowers are sprouting directly from your hair. That makes sense.
Go! Phone lines are open at 753-KVNU or 800-369-KVNU.
Kind of like eating vegetables.
It's the Garden Guide, now on KVNU 610 AM and 102 FM.
That's right, it is back. Welcome to the Garden Guide on this beautiful Saturday morning as it's going to start feeling a little bit like spring this weekend. We were in spring. Then Mother Nature was like, oh, wait a minute, let's actually let you feel the winter for a day or two.
Just a little.
Yeah.
Just a little.
But, oh, man, it's just so good to be back in the studio to talk all things lawn and garden with Mark Anderson of Anderson Seed and Garden. Mark, I know it. You know, we always say that it's nice to take a winter break, but I don't think you really had a winter break.
You know, it was the break was wonderful, though. The break was excellent, so... Yeah, you're right. It's like I'm looking at the weather right now going, oh, we might have like 50s this weekend.
Yeah.
And then next week, 50 and maybe 60.
Could be close to 60. Yeah.
So we'll take that.
Thankfully, we've gotten quite a bit of moisture, at least within the last couple of weeks. I was just tallying up just in March so far. You know, they always say March either comes in like a lion or a lamb. So far, we've had almost 2 inches of moisture here at the Radio Ranch. Beaver Mountain reporting 7 new inches of snow this morning, and they're sitting at a snow depth now of 70 inches, which is right about where they usually like to be.
Yeah. Just as a little slow coming this year.
Yeah, definitely a little slow. Mother Nature apparently was on a little different time frame than the rest of us. So, but a lot we can talk about. I had someone who texted me this week and said, am I crazy to think that it might be a good time to start putting in snow peas? And I said, absolutely not. Yeah. With all the moisture we're getting.
Oh, if your soil's workable, you know, you could do peas and spinach, lettuce, radishes, onions, cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, kale, you know, all those cold crops, they can handle frost and cold weather. So it's no problem. It's just whether your soil's really soggy right now or not.
Yeah. So, a lot we can talk about. Phone lines are open. We want to take your calls. If you've got questions for Mark about gardening or about your lawn, got a lot of things we can talk about to help green up the lawns as we're going to be starting to head into those warmer temperatures.
We were at the International Giant Pumpkin Growers meeting yesterday in Salt Lake, too.
Oh.
So they had it in Michigan last year, and it was in Salt Lake this year. And we actually talked to a number of growers from Canada and some from Great Britain and some from Germany were there as well too. Yeah, it was really pretty fun.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. So we could
talk some pumpkins.
We could talk little giant pumpkins, but you know, so many things to talk about. You know, bare root plants are starting to come in at Anderson's. All of our seeds are here, and you know, I threw a little humate on my lawn right before that last snowstorm.
Did you?
Oh, it's just going to be perfect. Yeah,
yeah.
a lot of things you can do right now, especially if the weather warms up a little this week. But I'm looking out the window. I'm going, God, the mountains look kind of wintry right now.
Little wintry still, but we've got some warm temperatures coming. So phone lines open at 753-5868. That's 753-KVNU if you have a question, comment for Mark Anderson of Anderson Seed and Garden. And, yeah, it definitely was a busy off season for you, I'm sure. But let's talk about, giant pumpkins first off.
Yeah.
And you mentioned yesterday meeting with international growers in Salt Lake.
So Salt Lake, the Commonwealth of Pumpkin Growers, they met for their international, I guess it was their opening, because they've got conference classes going on all day today and then kind of a big kickoff tonight. But they bring in growers from all over the country and also from all over the world, and they get together and they trade seeds and they talk about best practices and they learn new things and try new products. And we got to visit with a whole bunch. Of course, since we sponsor the Center Street Giant Pumpkin Festival,
right,
we thought we would go down there and try and recruit some people to come.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we have a lot of growers from Utah and Idaho and Wyoming that come and participate. But there's also a lot of growers in Oregon and in Colorado and even a few in Nevada. And we're like, you need to come to Center Street. It's like, this is a great event. This is a lot of fun. And the best way to attract them is to make them feel special and also offer big prize money.
Yeah, we love.
For some reason, the big prize money really makes a big difference. And the more growers that we get that bring big pumpkins here, the more fun the event is. Because last year we had, what did we have? We had 30 growers that came, and their pumpkins ranged between 300 pounds and nearly 2,000. And so attracting some new growers to Center Street, where it's such a fun event, we thought that'd be a lot of fun. But we discussed a lot of things with some of those growers, and some of the issues that they have is making sure that when they get a new seedling growing, which only takes a week, maybe 10 days to really get one putting out multiple leaves and growing like crazy, is get them to transplant, whether they transplant them outside or transplant them into their greenhouses, to not go through transplant shock. So we've got a really cool new product from Green Grow that I experimented with last year, which is called Green Aminos. And the Green Aminos you can use every time you transplant plants, and it will really help prevent transplant shock.
Okay.
And so into my garden last year, I transplanted about 100 plants. And so I did tomatoes and peppers and squashes and melons and cucumbers, all these transplants that I had started on my own. And then we moved those out into the garden, and using the Green Aminos on them and the Bigfoot, of course. Yeah, the Bigfoot, of course.
Bigfoot's such an amazing product.
Zero transplant shock.
Yeah.
So 100 plants, and some of those I had transplanted from a peat pellet into a 4-inch pot and done the same thing with them, and didn't have any problems that way as well too. So using some of these newer products that are coming out, it really, really helps when you're transplanting. I mean, some of these critical transition points with your plants to transition them outside, it really helps so that they don't go through that transplant shock, and they just sometimes they'll struggle for a week or even 2 weeks before they even get established and take off. And this is preventing that from happening, so they're getting acclimated to their new location almost instantly.
Okay.
Yeah. So we talked with them a lot about that, and of course we shared the Bigfoot with a lot of growers. Yeah, just a bunch of them, and many of them use mycorrhiza already. They use beneficial, microbes and microorganisms and bacteria to really build the soil up, but a lot of them had not used the Bigfoot.
It's just where it's all in one package.
Right. And so
concentrated
so
form.
we encouraged a lot of growers to start using the Bigfoot, and I think they'll see some really amazing results like we have.
Yeah, it's an amazing product. Well, let's go out to the phones. We have our first caller for the Garden Show on this Saturday morning. Ron joining us on the line from Clifton. Welcome to the show, Ron.
Hi, Mark.
How's it going, Ron?
Okay, I've got an apple tree, not mine, a neighbor's, that has some well-established fire blight.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Is there anything better than our garden Foss 1-to-1 with the magical Pentra bark emulsifier painted on after aggressive pruning?
definitely do the pruning. And now is a great time to prune, especially where the weather is cooperating and your fire blight is not active at the moment. So if you can get any infected parts out of the tree, it'll be less likely to infect this year. And then the garden foss with the bark penetrant, that is your absolute best preventative and curative method that's out there still. So I would do that sometime this month, and that would be sensational, Ron.
All right. That takes care of me for now. Thanks.
You're very welcome. Has it really helped applying that in the past? I know you've had some issues over the years.
Yes, and when I use the 1-to-1 with the surfactant, I painted on with the paintbrush.
Perfect.
And last year, for prevention, I went from 3.5 teaspoons per gallon up to their official max of 5 teaspoons per gallon.
Yeah.
And I went way more often than whatever their frequency was. And it could have just been an off year, but I don't remember having any fire blight on my super susceptible particular apple trees.
Right. It wasn't a heavy year for fire blight, but it was out there. It just wasn't as prevalent as we've had years past. But having 0, that is a success as far as I'm concerned. And you're right. You want to start with that paint method, right at the bottom of the trunk and go up to where the crotches of the main branches start to come out, and you can even kind of do a little bit in the crotches if you need to. But timing is critical. Get that on before the trees bloom, and then if you need to spray during bloom period, you can do exactly what you just explained. So perfect, Ron.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks so much for calling.
Introducing me to so many things. I haven't certainly digested all of your wonderful introductions, so thank you for the ones that I have used.
Oh, wonderful, Ron. Hey, you have a great weekend, and thanks for being the first caller of the season this year.
Exactly.
So I guess I should say hello to my neighbor Lyle, who's probably listening.
Tell him you're coming over with the pruning cheers later today, right?
Exactly.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, Ron.
All right, Ron. Phone lines open 753-5868. That's 753-KVNU for a question or comment for Mark Anderson Seed and Garden. We can also talk about pruning, too, because definitely we're getting into that season.
We hadn't discussed that this morning before the show, and there's no better time to be out pruning your trees and getting them ready to go. And since those bare root trees just arrived at Anderson's, we don't have our whole selection, but we have about a little bit more than half of what trees we have coming in, and they're ready to go. So we got them in on Wednesday, got them prepared yesterday, like Thursday and yesterday, and they're ready to go out the door. And the trees looked amazing. They looked really, really good. So we spent some time pruning yesterday. We'll do some more pruning today as well too to get them slicked up and ready to go. But we brought a different soil in this year. So we brought in a soil to pot the trees up later, but we're using it in our big containers for the bare root plants, and it's really, really nice.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
it's really, really nice. So we're very excited about our new soil, and the plants look great. We're doing some pruning. They're ready to go. We've got 20 different kinds of peaches, and we've got apples, and we've got cherries and plums and apricots. The only thing we don't have yet is pears.
Oh.
And we should have had pears on this shipment, and they basically had a crop disaster with the pears, and we're scrambling to try and find some more pear. And so pears are going to be scarce this year. So if you find a really nice pear tree, I would recommend you grab it. Yeah, because you might not see many this year.
Definitely scarce.
Yeah, I'm confident that we have about 100 that we'll be able to get a hold of, but it's less than what we normally bring in. So pears are a little sparse. We did bring in a few, like the pluaries and the plucots, so the cross between the plums and the apricots and the plums and the cherries. So we've got a few of those as well too. I've got some mulberries that look really good as well too. So a lot of really nice trees came in this week, and we're excited about that. Strawberries will be here next week.
Okay.
Potatoes will be here next week. Onion plants, I'll have a whole bunch of new onion plants ready to go as well too. And let's see what else. I think our grapes shipped from New York, so we'll probably see grapes show up next week. And then a lot of the smaller fruits, so blueberries and blackberries and let's see what else we got. Gooseberries, and I don't know if we were able to get Marionberry this year, but I think I got some Loganberries.
Most of those will be coming in
those,
the next
Those
few
will all be
weeks.
coming in, hopefully, by the end of next week.
Okay.
So by the time we get on the show next week, I should have a lot more of this. I mean, it's early.
Yeah.
As today's the 7th of March. Usually we have a lot of snow on
I
the
know.
ground, and nobody's like really excited about it. But right now I got a lot of people coming in. They're like, why don't you have all these onion plants in? Why, how come your potatoes aren't here?
Yeah.
It's like, well, it's the 1st of March.
It is still March. Doesn't feel like it outside, but it is still March for
it's
sure.
like, it's the 1st of March, and I order this stuff like midsummer.
Yeah.
And we kind of have to pick a date and say, send it the
Right.
send it the second week of March. That'll be like perfect.
Thinking that there's still going to be snow.
Whatever happens, yeah. And then some years that works great, and some years it's like, no, we want it sooner, and some years it's like, no, don't send it yet. We're not ready.
Yeah.
So you never know what's going to happen.
Well, and we've talked about it in the past, and we were just mentioning it earlier. When it comes to those bare root plants, the best thing you can do, in fact, you almost ought to just include it with the purchase of every bare root tree, is mycorrhiza and just a package of Bigfoot. We did that last year. We put in a new apricot tree. We had struggled with apricot trees. We're on our third tree,
right,
getting them started and established, and we had by far the best success we've ever had with this first tree, treating it with Bigfoot when we first put it in, and then we watered it with Bigfoot 4 to 5 times.
Yeah.
Last year.
And you could do a follow-up application this year since there's a lot of new root system. You could try and colonize that new root system. But once it really gets colonized, it will stick with the tree for the rest of its life.
It's just an amazing product.
So when we do bare root trees like we're doing right now, we do offer a 5-year guarantee on those trees. If you purchase the tree and some planting mix and the Bigfoot package,
to go with it.
yeah, or our mic package. So we have both. So we have 2 options, and it really does help with that transplant shock. It really helps get those plants established. It helps encourage more root system. The plants just thrive and they take off, and it really does make a difference. Great thing about some of the information we have at Anderson's, but also on our website, is we'll walk you through the planting process. So I've got a great planting guide that shows you exactly how big to dig your hole and how to place the tree in there and what to plant with it and how to water it and how to take care of it. And we've got that information in the store and on our website as well, too. So at AndersonSeedandGarden.com, you can go onto our website. There's tons of great information on how to plant every vegetable that's out there, how to plant every fruit that's out there. And we've got planting guides that will show you exactly how to do it. And we have videos that show you exactly how to do it and just walks you through that process so you can feel comfortable and confident that when you're planting, you're going to be successful.
The only problem I can say that we had using Bigfoot last season is that we used it trying to grow peppers because we've always struggled with peppers, and we put them on our tomatoes. Yeah. And those plants ended up so big. We had peppers daily in our house. It's like you can only use peppers for so many things.
Out of control, yes. Those plants get out of control. So
they do.
So we usually use a Bigfoot or a different type of mycorrhiza on our peppers and our tomatoes. But last year I used the Bigfoot on, potatoes.
Oh, yeah.
And carrots. And they were absolutely the best potatoes and carrots that we've ever grown. Yeah. And we're still eating carrots.
Wow.
Yeah, we're still eating carrots. So the potatoes are toast, but we're still eating carrots. I've got one little section about 3 feet, maybe 2 feet, that has carrots in the garden still. So I'll probably this weekend go dig those up, and that's the last of our carrots for this year. Wow. Yeah, they're all gone.
Yeah, it's an impressive product. It'll definitely help with that transplant shock. Really helps if you've got a bare root tree that you're wanting to put in. Just treat it a little bit. And there's 2 types of Bigfoot. You can get the liquid, and then you just water it in, or there's also the granule.
Yeah.
And we did a little both, and we a little more than we probably needed.
With our guarantee, you treat the root system with the granule and then put it in the hole as you're preparing. And then once you backfill with your soil compost mixture, then you water it with the liquid. And so it's a concentrate, so you mix it up in water. And the combination of the 2 will introduce the mycorrhiza and the beneficial microbes and microorganisms into that soil and into the tree as well too. And then it'll colonize the tree with much finer root hairs. They're called hyphae, and those hyphae go out in search of water and nutrient, and they're much more efficient and effective at picking up the water and nutrient than the plant root system is by itself. And so it picks up that water, picks up that nutrient, transports it right to the root system, and then the tree picks up, or the tomato picks up, or whatever plant it is that we've inoculated with it, picks that water and nutrient up and utilizes it, and then gives a little bit of energy back to the mycorrhiza, and then it goes out and it finds more.
And you get it. Yeah.
And so it's a very cooperative relationship. We call it a symbiotic relationship. They work together and they live together. And if if the host dies, then the mycorrhiza dies. So it will work as hard as it possibly can to try and keep its host alive, because that's its source of nutrients. Yeah.
Okay.
So as it brings that water and nutrient to the host, whatever plant that is, if it's a tree or if it's a shrub or if it's a tomato plant, then that tomato plant will digest that nutrient and then give some of it back to the mycorrhiza.
Okay.
And then it will expand its network and go out and find more.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a really unique relationship, and Bigfoot is probably the best product we've ever used at creating that relationship and getting that work to happen together, because they will work together, and all of a sudden your plants will be thriving instead of struggling.
Yeah. And just keep in mind, when we say thriving, that means you're going to have a lot more crop at the end of your harvest than you may have expected.
And just so you know, I don't pay Will to say that.
And don't be bringing your peppers to us.
Yeah, that's too many. But once you use it and you realize what a difference it makes, then it is really easy to get sold on it.
Yeah.
And so that's what happened to me last year with the green aminos from Green Grow. And I used it on all those transplants. And when I did it, I mean, you just anticipate some of the plants kicking the bucket.
Yeah, because they always have.
That's the way it always works, And so then I'm transplanting them into 4-inch pots, and I go look at them 2 days later, and they look like they've never been transplanted. Yeah. Like they're perfect, and that they've always grown in that pot. And it's just like, dang, that really worked. Let's try it again, And so after you do these experiments, 3 or 4 or 8 or 12 or 20 times, and it works every time, then it's just like, all right, I'm using that every time I do it. It's like it just works.
It's so impressive, because so many times we would, come pick up our tomato plants from Anderson Seed and Garden, put them in, and you always find a couple of them the next day just wilted over.
Yeah.
But they thrive.
It really helps. And of course, it's not 100% foolproof.
That's right.
We're still going to have some problems, but it eliminates a large majority of the issues that we've had previously, in the last decades, where we've struggled getting plants to get established, or struggled to get plants to just even transplant in the first place. And they're just thriving because of what we're doing to the soil to really make that environment the perfect place for that plant to grow.
Now, I'm curious, you were talking to some international pumpkin growers yesterday. Where they don't have Bigfoot, especially I can imagine over in Great Britain, Canada.
Oh, yeah.
Product hasn't made it there yet.
No.
But what do they use?
We didn't ask them because they were so curious about some of the new products that we're using.
Oh.
So we were actually doing research to find out if we could send Bigfoot to Canada because it's not registered in Canada. And then we did the same thing with Great Britain and Germany. So we're like, okay, we'll do some digging. So we're calling the company and saying, have you shipped stuff to Germany? Have you shipped stuff to the EU or to Canada? And they're like, we're working on it. We're working.
Maybe you just need to plan a trip.
Yeah,
pack your suitcase
take
with it.
Take a little extra with.
Don't say anything when you cross the border.
I was going to say, hopefully they don't stop us at customs, and away we go. But I gave them some samples to take and to try out, which will not be problematic. And it was a learning experience for us, because we had these international growers coming in, and they're like, well, we want to get this, and we don't have anything like that in our area, and how do we get it? Can you ship it to us? And it's like, let's find out.
Yeah.
Because sometimes shipping internationally can be a little problematic.
Like,
if you're sending product into Canada, they're very, very strict. and they will impose duties and fees as it goes across the border. So say you spend $100 on various different products that get stopped at the border. Well, now all of a sudden it's $150, $200 product because you just had to pay the fees at the border. So there are hiccups at the borders of some of these countries, and you got to be prepared for it.
Now, did any of these growers tell you how their pumpkins go? We've seen some amazing pumpkins come from from the Center Street Pumpkin Festival. Yeah. What type of sizes are they seeing, like in Canada? I mean, you're talking about a very northern,
very different growing conditions, but they also have some really great growers that do a really good job. So we were seeing comparable sizes, between 1,000 and 2,000.
2,000 pounds.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. But the world record holder for a few years, probably 5 or 6 years back, were from Great Britain. And so there's a couple of growers in Great Britain that are very, very good, and they consistently get in that 2,500 pound range and higher. Wow. Yeah, and the world record was in Italy for quite a few years. So some of these European growers are very, very good, and they have some great conditions for growing, even a little bit longer season. But really, when it comes down to it, our season is long enough to grow giant pumpkins, as we saw last year. Because Alan Giebert's pumpkin was like almost 2,000 pounds, and that was a record for Cache Valley.
Huge.
Yeah.
Now, do any of these international growers, are they doing them in greenhouses?
They start them inside, and a lot of them will grow them in greenhouses because you can control the climate and the soil and everything. But that's an expensive hobby.
Oh man, yeah.
We're talking tens of thousands of dollars to do what some of these growers are doing. And when the grand prize is like $5,000, they're just like, that covered my travel costs to get here.
Didn't even take care of the watering.
Exactly. So it's complicated, but it was really fun to talk with them and see what resources they had available to them and what we have that they would die for. That they were super excited for. And we actually learned a lot about our products and international shipping and trying to answer some of these questions for people. We just like, I don't know. Let's find out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking with Mark Anderson here on the Garden Guide on KVNU. Phone lines are open if you have a question or comment for Mark as we head into the bottom of the hour break. Coming back, a lot to talk about in how to be able to green up your lawn as we're starting to head into warmer temperatures.
Pruning.
Yeah,
we got to talk pruning.
Definitely want to talk about pruning, and there are some plants that can go in the ground. So if you're wanting to get those fingers dirty a little bit and muddy, there are a few plants that could go in.
We'll probably have some pansies next week, too. So a little bit of color's coming.
Yeah. So call in with those questions, 753-KVNU, 753-5868 for the Garden Guide here on KVNU. We'll be right back. Now, after the hour, and with your KVNU local headlines, I'm Will Feelwright. Starting off in sports, the Utah State men's basketball team looking to secure an outright Mountain West Conference regular season championship when they host New Mexico coming up this afternoon. Now, tip-off is set for 2 o'clock in the Spectrum. The Aggies come into this game already clinching a share of the conference title, but they can win it outright with a victory over the Lobos. Meanwhile, a New Mexico win would give the Lobos a share of the championship. Now, head coach Jared Calhoun earlier this week had a lot of praise for this New Mexico team, noting their size and speed.
Great team. I mean, there's a reason they're playing for a regular season championship. Eric Olin is one of the best coaches in the country. Great respect for him. I think they've got the 3 best freshmen on one team in the country. I don't think there's another team in the country that can say that.
Now, a win Saturday for the Aggies would mark a historic milestone, securing the program's first ever 4th consecutive 25-win season. Now, the Aggies currently are ranked 28th in the NCAA net rankings, having already guaranteed a first-round bye in next week's Mountain West tournament in Las Vegas, and will enter as either a first or second seed. Now, we'll have more on the game coming up with our pregame show beginning at 1 o'clock as J.D. Walker and Stockton Jukes will be counting down to tip-off. And it's daylight saving time this weekend, as you'll want to make sure your clocks are set ahead tonight as as we all adjust, losing an hour overnight. Weather-wise, going to enjoy a beautiful weekend as we'll have clear skies, temperatures staying right around the high 40s to low to mid 50s. And as we look ahead to next week, temperatures going to be in the high 50s, flirting close to 60 for the first of next week. I'm Will Feelright with your KVNU local headlines.
I'm Jim Bass. We'll get it started with a huge deal from the NFL. 5-time Pro Bowl edge Max Crosby headed to the Ravens. Raiders will get 2 first-round picks, including the 14th selection in next month's draft. Pressure to now get it done. Jamison Hensley.
For Max Crosby, this is a player that has played a lot of football. And so when you're giving up 2 first-round picks, this is a guy that has to produce immediately, and if he doesn't get double-digit sacks, at least first season, I think there's going to be a lot of people going, well, why did they make this trade? They're going to immediately say the Ravens lost this trade. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on Max Crosby to come in and produce.
NBA, Jason Tatum made his season debut for the Celtics.
Shovel for Pritchard, open, threes, short, offensive rebound, two-hand slam, Jason Tatum.
What's what I tell you, son? I hope his first shot was going to be.
As 98.5, the Sports Hub, back from that ruptured Achilles, played 27 minutes, 15 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists in the 20-point win over the Mavericks. OG Anunoby, 34. Knicks blow out the Nuggets in Denver, 142-103. Jamal Murray suffered a sprained ankle. Victor Wembanyama, 27 points, 10 boards, 4 blocks. Spurs rally from 25 down to beat the Clippers. Luka, 44 points, 9 assists, 5 rebounds, 3 steals, 2 blocks. Lakers over the Pacers, 128-117 without LeBron. Alper and Şengün, 28. Rockets best the Blazers, 106-99. And Tyler Hero had 35. Heat snapped the Hornets' 6-game winning streak, 128-120. Miami of Ohio finishes the regular season 31-0. Overtime winners over Ohio. St. John's beats Seton Hall 72-65. They'll have a share, at least, of the Big East regular season title. Zuby Ejiofor had 21 points in the 72-65 win.
The Garden Guide with Mark Anderson from Anderson Seed and Garden on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
Welcome back to the Garden Guide on this beautiful Saturday morning as we're enjoying sunshine, temperatures. Okay, maybe not exactly spring-like yet, sitting at 29.
A little chilly right off this morning. But
supposed to be in the 40s today. 50s coming tomorrow.
Loving it.
Close to 60 next week.
It's going to be. It's really going to feel like spring. So that means you need to get out and get your trees pruned. We need to get a little fertilizer on the lawn, or humate if you don't want to mow every 5 minutes. So that's kind of what I decided to do to start off with that.
Humate is always a great option because it gets just rid of a lot of that dead stuff.
All the dead grass and all the decomposing grass clippings that are sitting out there.
And leaves that you didn't
dead
get to.
junk you didn't clean up last fall that you probably should have.
Yeah.
So what I like to do is get that humate application on as early as I possibly can. And this year, that was the 2nd of March.
Probably one of the earliest times you've ever put it on.
One of the earliest I've ever put it on. So I'm out there going, dang, we got a couple storms coming this week. I should put my humate on.
Do it.
And so I just grabbed 3 bags and took it home and left work just a hair early and just got that all applied before it got dark. And then it rained on it, and then it snowed on it, and then that snow melted and pushed it down in. And so this is a perfect time to apply humate because that humate is all natural. It's going to break down thatch. It's going to break down grass clippings. It's going to eat up a lot of that longer dead grass that's kind of sitting on top. And basically, by putting that humate on this week and get that watered in about 2 weeks, I'll be able to mow the lawn, and all that stuff will just disappear.
Oh,
because it'll just be green and beautiful underneath. But I didn't put a fertilizer on, and so the fertilizer won't make it grow out of control. So I don't have to start mowing weekly. It's gonna just perk it up and get it growing and green without making it grow like crazy.
Start to actually come up.
Yeah.
All right.
And we'll come back and talk about that some more.
Yeah. Let's go out to the phone lines. Kathleen is joining us on the line here in Logan. Kathleen, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you. Good morning, Will. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning.
How are you guys?
Oh, it's great to be back.
Doesn't get any better. Yeah, doesn't get any better.
Great to have you back, and congratulations on being our new mayor.
Oh, thank you.
In
Thank
Logan,
you. Thank you.
Mark.
Yes, we try and separate duties a little bit here. So we only talk garden here. But if you want to call and talk to the mayor's show, that's coming up in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I do that with Jason on Wednesdays, and that's almost as much fun as doing the garden guide. Almost as much fun.
Yeah.
So.
Well, all righty there. Okay, well, that's my comment, and here's my question.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, when's a good time to de-winterize my rose?
You know, it's a little bit early. So we were down in Salt Lake yesterday for this pumpkin growers conference, and we had parked in one parking lot, and I was like, "Ooh, look, those roses are like they're leafing out." Yeah, they're leafing out, and that's when you can get some damage, especially in Cache Valley, because we can still get some cold temperatures. So even if they're starting to bud a little bit, just leave them alone, because if you prune too much too early, it will encourage more growth, and then you'll really get them to leaf out, and then you have some hard weather, and it will damage them. So we usually recommend the last weekend in March or the first weekend in April is the best time to uncover your roses and incorporate some new mulch in there and prune your roses and feed them. And so let's give it like 3 more weeks, and hopefully they won't go too fast, and then do some serious pruning, fertilize, mulch, away you go.
All righty. Right. Thanks very much.
What kind of roses have you got, Kathleen?
I have one rose.
All right.
And it's Audrey Hepburn or one of those old actresses.
Beautiful. Yeah. And is it red?
Yes.
Audrey Hepburn's red. Yeah. It's a gorgeous rose, and it has a really good scent to it as well, too.
Oh, yeah. It smells amazing.
Yeah. And so that is a hybrid tea rose, and you want to prune hybrid tea roses and grandiflora roses, which have really big single flowers on them, just like the hybrid teas. You want to prune those fairly aggressively. And so what I would recommend is you pick 4 to 6 main canes that are coming up from the graft that look really green and healthy and good, and take everything else off. And then on those 4 to 6 main canes, trim those down to about 8 to 10 inches. And you can prune a little bit more if you need to, if there's some damage down lower. But usually 6 to 10 inches long is what you want to leave those, and take everything else off.
All right. Well, that's great information.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. And then fertilize right after you're done pruning, and then plan on fertilizing once a month all the way through the summer until August. The roses like to be pruned aggressively. They only bloom on new growth. And so that's why you prune them really harsh in the winter time, or in the late winter, early spring, to encourage new growth. And then every time they bloom, prune them back 5 leaflets. So you want to prune them back 5 leaflets, and every month fertilize, so you get lots of new growth that comes up. As long as you're pruning, you'll always keep getting new roses.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, thanks so much.
You're so welcome. Thanks for calling this morning, and you have a wonderful weekend.
And you also.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye, Kathleen.
And that opens up the phone line, 753-KVNU, 753-5868. So a little early on the roses, but definitely time that you could prune your fruit trees.
Yes.
To start taking care of them. I even started noticing a couple of our fruit trees getting so close to budding.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Which is a little scary.
That's okay, though, because they'll sit there for, we get weather like what we've had. They'll just stay in that spot. The 60s next week might kind of encourage a little bit of growth, but we do have another pruning seminar coming up at Anderson's, and I didn't grab the calendar this morning to bring with me, but it's either this Thursday or next Thursday. So check our social media feeds for when those next classes are coming up. But we've got another pruning class coming up, and I think it is this coming Thursday, but I can't tell for sure without my calendar right in front of me. But that is through the USU Extension, and so you're welcome to go to the USU Extension website and look and see what classes they've got coming up. And we have a pruning class coming up at Anderson's here shortly, and some gardening classes as well too that are really great. J.D. Gunnell comes and teaches those classes in our classroom, and he does a sensational job covering all the things that he's got planned, and any other questions that you've got as well too. So we'll have to take a second, Will, and maybe look up what classes are coming on the extension.
Take a look,
because it's like I forgot my calendar and didn't bring it with me. And I know we've got some classes coming up, and that pruning class with J.D. Gunnell is coming up. We've done one already, and we've got another coming. And then the class that fills up really, really quick is the grafting class. And the grafting class is about mid-April, and that one fills up really, really fast. It's a little bit more expensive class, but everyone that I have talked to that has participated in that class, it was worth every penny. And then they give you a whole bunch of stuff to take home. So I think it's $30 for the class, but you end up taking home more than $30 worth of materials when you're all done with it as well too. So you get well compensated from USU Extension whenever you come and do classes with us.
All right.
Yeah, it's great.
Excellent. Well, let's go back out to the phone lines. We have Sue, who's joining us on the line from Logan. Welcome to the show, Sue.
Hi, Mark.
Hey.
I'm happy for your program.
Thank you.
I learned a lot.
Oh, I hope so.
What can I do out in my garden to get some of those noxious weeds out, and when can I spray and to treat that? And I have a little viney weed that grows flat, and I just have a hard time getting rid of that.
Gotcha. So temperatures are a little cool right now for a Roundup or a Kills-All type product, but they will work in cooler temperatures, but it just takes forever for it to do anything. If you wanted to spot treat some weeds in the flower beds or in the garden, Decimate is my favorite go-to. It's quicker, it reacts faster, it reacts in cooler temperatures, and it will kill broadleaf weeds as well as grasses. So it's non-selective, so it'll kill whatever you spray it on, but it won't affect the plant right next to it. It has very little soil residual activity, so it doesn't damage your soil, and so it won't spread to nearby plants and cause problems. If it's in your turf, like you've got weeds in your lawn, then I go with Weed Free Zone because that works in daytime temperatures as low as 50 degrees, and very, very effective on morning glory and thistles and mallow and spurge and purslane. It'll get all those. But if you want to hit some other weeds and grasses in flower beds or in garden, go with the Decimate.
Okay, would that also work on grape hyacinths?
Grape hyacinths are tough. That's one we may have to switch to a little bit more potent herbicide, like Spurge Power from Monterey is really good. But I have a surfactant that you can add to that herbicide to make it work more effectively, and it will work on the grape hyacinths.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling this morning, Sue. You have a wonderful weekend.
I will.
All right, thanks. Yep.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, and that opens up phone line 753-5868, and Todd is joining us on line 2. Todd, welcome to the Garden Guide this morning.
Well, thank you. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it, Will. Hey, Mark, I've got my fruit trees are starting to swell a little bit on the buds.
Right.
Now a good time to spray the dormant oil?
As you get pruned, did you prune yet, Todd?
Yeah.
Okay. As soon as you're done pruning, as long as we're not getting freezing temperatures, like it's a little cold right now, we like to wait until it warms up just a little bit. But it would be a perfect time to go ahead and spray. Yeah. So just kind of watch those temperatures. If you're in the low 30s, high 20s, and you spray during the day and it's 50 degrees when you spray, it won't be a problem. That will work. It will work just fine. It's when it's too cold during the day. We want to avoid that a little bit. So.
Okay. How about garden foss on the trunks?
I would shoot for probably St. Patrick's Day.
Okay.
Yeah, don't do it too early. It has about a 2 to 3 month residual, and so if you get it on at the right time, it will be flowing through the trees when the blossoms and the leaves are first starting to come out, which is kind of what we're targeting. But then it will give you some added protection through the early part of summer as well too. So it'll work all the way through spring and into the early part of summer if we time it right on.
Okay.
So, all right.
Alrighty. Hey, I've got a sunburst locust that the last couple of years it's been getting these sap coming out of the trunk.
Yeah.
and it just kind of spreads up through the trunk. Do you think I got a borer or some kind of bug in there?
There are some borers that can get into locust, but we haven't really seen them here. But there are a couple diseases that get into the locust that will cause little cankers on them, and those cankers can split open, and then you have sap coming out, and it does look like a borer. So it looks just like you've had an insect get in there and do some damage, but it's actually the tissue of the bark splitting open where that canker is, and then you'll have sap coming out. It would be very helpful if you could do the garden foss for the fire blight on your locust as well, too, because it'll help with the canker.
Okay.
Yeah.
All righty.
It'll absolutely help with the canker.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks
Appreciate
for calling,
your help.
Todd. Yeah. Have a great weekend.
You too.
All right.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Phone lines open at 753-5868. If you have a question or comment for Mark, that's 753-KVNU. And let's go back out to the phone lines. We have Todd 2 from Logan. Todd, welcome to the show.
Morning, guys. How you doing this morning?
Doing great,
Doing
Todd.
good.
Well, good. I'm a little late to the party, but we'll be okay.
It
right?
is the first show of the year. You are not late,
right.
Todd.
Okay. Well, I'll get right to the point, though. We got our new garden boxes established and ready to go for the year. And we, Mark, we've got the old dirt in, ready, and we just want to know what type of soil that we can put in on the top layer, which would be the best.
There you go. There's a lot of different options. How much depth do you need, Todd?
I don't know. Probably, let me double check.
At least a couple.
6 inches?
Yeah.
Probably about a foot.
Oh, so you need about 12 inches. Okay.
Yeah.
And how big are your beds?
They're 12 by 4 by 8.
4 by 8?
4 by 8.
Okay, so you got 30.
Yeah.
So you need 32 cubic feet to fill that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a fairly sizable amount. With
Right.
raised beds, we don't recommend you use straight topsoil because the topsoil is a little bit too heavy and it will clump up and it's a little hard on your plants. Even though your planters are that big, we want to go something a little bit lighter. So we will usually recommend a half and half mixture of like the raised bed mix from Miller's, which is an excellent local product. Half and half with some topsoil. So use a lightweight sifted topsoil, 50%. Okay. So you'd need like 16 cubic feet of that, and then do 16 cubic feet of a raised bed mix. Raised bed mix is a little bit more expensive, but it is very lightweight. It's light and fluffy and nice. And mixing the two together gives you the best of both worlds because you get the texture and the kind of the density of the topsoil, but then the raised bed mix is lighter weight and it keeps your soil from clumping up, and so you just get this nice light, loose, fluffy soil that your plants will just love. And then for a fertilizer, I would definitely do the Green Grow tomato and vegetable in there. That's like hands down the best fertilizer to charge that soil up with the first time you grow.
Okay, so yeah, I know that's going to be a lot.
Yeah. But if you crate it properly, you'll never have to do it again.
Yeah. Okay. I think that answers our question.
You may have to top it off a little bit every now and then, but if you wanted to add a little bit more compost, a little bit more nutrition to it, you could do a little bit of the soil building conditioner, maybe an inch or two, and work that in, or the Garden Max that we've talked about before in the past, and that would really charge your soil up as well too. So I think 2 bags of the Garden Max would cover 32 square feet, about an inch thick.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that.
Okay.
And I think that answers our question.
Sounds good. I have a full tote, like a 1 cubic yard tote of Garden Max if you want to steal a shovel full or two out. Yeah.
Just you want to get that good 50-50 mix. That's the main thing.
Yep. On the topsoil and the raised bed mix.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll come and get that tote later on. And
Sounds
you can
good.
Just put it in my driveway for me. How's that sound?
The other option, but it's a little bit more expensive, is I just got a new soil in from California, and it comes from Humboldt County, which is like prime marijuana growing area. And this is the soil that we're using with our new bare root trees, and it's like amazing, Todd. It's so nice. It's got coconut core in there, and it's just so light and fluffy. And this is our new planting mix. So we're recommending this. It comes in like almost 2 cubic foot bags for anyone who's buying a tree or a shrub or is going to like do some transplanting. It's really, really nice. So I'll let you come stick your fingers in the barrel and feel it if you would like. So.
Oh, gee, thanks, Mark.
But it is a little bit more expensive than the raised bed mix, but it would be amazing. Like I would totally use it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the info on that.
I know you're a little budget conscious from time to time.
Like we all are.
Yeah, like everybody right now. But this may be worth a little extra expenditure.
All righty. Well, I appreciate you answering my question.
Okay. Yep. Anytime, Todd.
Great to hear from you, Todd.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
We'll see you.
753-5868 is the phone number. Have time, we could squeeze in maybe one more call. 753-KVNU. Just checking the calendar, Mark. A follow-up. We were talking about the pruning class.
Yes.
Okay. That class coming up March 12th and is going to be at 6:30.
Okay. So it is this coming Thursday.
Yep.
That's what I was thinking, but I just wanted to double check and make sure. We've talked a little bit about pruning. We talked about lawn care. The Humate would be great right now. If you do want to put a fertilizer on, I would do a fertilizer, but not a fertilizer weed preventer combination. Don't do your pre-emergent quite yet. That should be the end of March, first part of April, because it's very temperature sensitive when a lot of these weeds are germinating, and that won't happen until the first part of May. So if you put your weed preventer on the first part of March, it will be wearing off the first part of May when all those weeds are germinating. And so don't do like a fertilizer pre-emergent weed preventer combination. We don't want to put that on yet. But a great just general purpose fertilizer, 16-16-16, or the Green Maker from Fertilome, or our 23-316. Those would be great options for right now to put down with the Humate. But don't do your weed preventer yet. We're gonna do that towards the end of this month, first part of April. It will target those weeds much, much better. You won't be disappointed that it didn't stop some of the weeds from coming up. So,
all right. Yeah. And let's go out to the phone lines for our final call on the Garden Show on this Saturday morning. Steven's joining us on the line from Richmond. Steven, welcome to the show.
Good morning. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning.
I have a quick question. I bought a peach tree from you about 5 years ago, and it's been an amazing peach tree. We've loved it. And last year I bought some Lovell rootstock, and I've had them in pots for a year, and I'd love to graft that peach tree onto this rootstock. When's the best time to do that?
Right before they bud out. And so you could actually start anytime in the next 3 to 4 weeks and get that ready to go. And you'd want to collect your scions while they're completely dormant and prep those, and then get your rootstock ready to go. And you could do cleft graft. You could try and do some bud graft. I mean, there's a bunch of different ways we could do that. And I've got some great information at the store on grafting, and I've got grafting knives, and I've got the grafting wax and everything. I think I've even got the tape now. Yeah, okay. If I'm out of the tape, I've got some more coming. So I've got all the products you need to do that, and some good instructions as well too. So I would be happy to help you with that, Steve.
So you do the scions now, maybe, and then when I prune it?
Yeah, and you can keep them in the fridge to keep them a little bit cooler, or you can kind of wait and see what happens. But if the weather turns really warm and then they start, really kind of start cracking next week, then we might be a little bit too late. So you may want to collect those fairly soon. But you're in Richmond; it's always colder up there, so.
Yeah.
That was my sarcastic comment for today. Yeah.
Do you remember what type of peach tree you grew, Stephen?
I believe it was a Suncrest or Sunburst.
Oh, yeah. Nice peach. Yeah, really nice.
Yep.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, thanks for calling this morning.
The call.
Yep.
All right, we've got just a minute left, Mark, and wow, this first show has just flown by. Great to have all of the callers and all of the great questions. One thing we didn't really get into, cold crops. There's a lot of cold crops that can start going in right now.
So I've got onions soaking and ready to transplant whenever my garden dries out.
Yeah.
And so they're ready to go, and I've got more onion plants coming in next week. But truly, if you can get out in your garden, you can plant peas, spinach, lettuce, radishes, onions, cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, kale. They could all go in like today. Yeah, so no problems there. We've got all the seeds. We've got plants starting to come in, and work your soil. If I had dry soil, I'd be out there planting tonight, and I get my peas in, and I'll just like prep the area, put my fertilizer down in there. Peas go right on top. Maybe a little inoculant to help fix some nitrogen. Cover them up and water them, and boom, away you go.
You're ready to go.
So this is the perfect time to get out there and do some early crop planting.
All right. Well, if you missed a part of the show, you can always go back to kvnutalk.com. Check out the podcast library where you can download any of the Garden Guide shows, and join us again next week for the Garden Guide here on KVNU.
Covering all the news. Stay with 610 AM and 102.1 FM. Breaking news and